What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny. Back in here with one more reaction video, ladies and gentlemen. And today we got a new artist coming to the channel. Gentleman by the name of Locksmith. And this track is titled America. Never heard it. So we're going to see what this thing sound like. And if this is your first time pulling up, get on in here. As I love to say, we simply spirits encased in human flesh, that is all. Trying to figure out this thing called life. Not nearly as divided or as demonic as the mainstream media tries to make it seem every single day. And I think we can all agree that everybody and their mom enjoys some good music. So if you dig what you hear in this thing, do me a favor and share it far and wide. Let's get it.
I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Yeah. America is slowly dying of a self-inflicted wound from a weapon that we're supplying. The past seeds of hatred that race in our bloodstream. We can't agree to disagree on the most basic of things. What's a man? What's a woman? What's the shape of the earth? When does human life begin? At conception or during birth? Meanwhile, the projects is more violent and the Democratic Party stays silent. That's poverty pimping. That's when politics are poverty driven and they pander to poor communities to get moral impunity.
Man, look here. Hey. Not sure who Locksmith is, but hats off to him. You know, I live in Kansas City right now, and you all have seen the Ralph Yarl shooting, and the way it's being manipulated by the Democratic politicians here is comical. You know, Kansas City has had a Democratic mayor since 1991, yet for the last 3-4 years, the homicide rate is breaking the record every single year. And they want to keep saying it's because of racism, it's because of the white man, it's because of systematic oppression. And as to quote Tupac, they keep telling me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing around here. Shout out to Locksmith for dropping a lot of truth in this track. Let's get back into this thing.
Meanwhile, the projects is more violent and the Democratic Party stays silent. That's poverty pimping. That's when politics are poverty driven and they pander to poor communities to get moral impunity. Capitalism is a black man's hell, but Marxism comes from Europe as well. It's not African. So pick a side to collect from. We run away from one slave master into the arms of the next one. And every 2 to 4 years they pump fear and we auction off our vote in exchange for some false hope.
Look here, I challenge everybody to go watch the speech, The Bullet or the Ballot by Malcolm X. And as he said, you put them first and they put you last. Since 1932, the masses of black Americans have been voting Democrat. And I think you could look around and see nothing has changed in those environments. So we would agree that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. And then you got Joe Biden pops up and says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And the hood is doing 10 times worse under Biden than it was under Trump. Come on, man.
Listen, it's that blatant. Enslave us through taxation. Send money to Ukraine and you paying at the gas station. Cause this administration had plans for the inflation. Natural gas is the actual task. Check the pipeline. Now they want to fight crime. We tools in the plot. They wasn't talking gun reform back when Boo Boo got shot. Drug addiction was not a disease when Nunu had rocks. Now they change and readjust words cause meth is in the suburbs.
Ain't it crazy? The same people who want to push gun control or gun reform, because you got all the A-list Hollywood celebrities talking about gun violence and this. Them the same ones that be on Instagram bumping King Von, bumping Chief Keef and all this drill music that glorifies killing. You know, it's cool for a black man to be killed as long as it's not by a white person. And that's like the most comical thing in the world, because black lives only matter if a white person takes that life. And not even if it's a white person, if it's a white police officer, because if it's a white doctor in there that's committing that abortion, don't nobody care. You see what I'm saying? It's such a joke.
Task. Check the pipeline. Now they want to fight crime. We tools in the plot. They wasn't talking gun reform back when Boo Boo got shot. Drug addiction was not a disease when Nunu had rocks. Now they change and readjust words cause meth is in the suburbs. In the 90s, Biden locked up our people for coke. Now he's using taxpayer dollars to buy pipes so niggas can smoke. You don't see the contradiction?
Joe Biden,
or you too busy double tap dancing to pay attention? This is legislative lynching, economic Jim Crow. They feed us violence and spirits to keep us spiritually poor. Is this conspiracy? No, far beyond the music. That crime bill defines still how juveniles are prosecuted.
And right now, we got to understand that it is not black versus white. This is a spiritual war that's going on right now. That's straight up good versus evil. And they want us fighting over petty things like our skin color, like who got the most money, who lives in what neighborhood. We got to step back and see this is all a game to divide and conquer us. It's Hunger Games is playing out in real life, and we got to wake up and see it and enlighten the people around us.
Smoke. You don't see the contradiction? Or you too busy double tap dancing to pay attention? This is legislative lynching, economic Jim Crow. They feed us violence and spirits to keep us spiritually poor. Is this conspiracy? No, far beyond the music. That crime bill defines still how juveniles are prosecuted. We prostitute ourselves for the wealthy, it's not healthy. Fly across country for protests just to get a selfie. Meanwhile, the news outlets exploited and traditional black values get voided. It happens considerably. Attack the fam, crack the validity. Keep the fathers unemployed, destroy black masculinity. Keep the mothers out the house, let the boys.
And that's the problem that we can't see. This is an American issue, but it ain't just keep the black fathers out the house. It's the white fathers. It's the Hispanic fathers. It's if you a daddy and you want to influence your children, the government is like, no, we don't want that. I think Joe Biden just said the other day, there's no such thing as your children. There's a nation's children. And that's real 1984-ish. And that's why I say we need strong men now more than ever. Protect your children, protect your spouse, protect your neighborhood, protect your country.
Run willingly, then let the streets raise them and haze them to be brazen. It's basically by design. We reside in public housing. Throw us a couple crumbs and we succumb to those surroundings. Perpetuated by educators and pastors.
Do not succumb to your environment. Do not succumb to your surroundings. I am sitting here talking to you as a kid who grew up in a homeless shelter. Mama was on Section 8 and food stamps my whole life. Lights was always getting cut off. Gas was always getting cut off. Water was always getting cut off. Neighborhood drug dealer got shot on my porch. None of that stops you from being great. None of that stops you from being successful. And even if you come from a trailer park, no matter where you are, if you're a trust fund baby, you're going to go through hardships too. Do not let anything that happens in your life stop you from achieving your goals and achieving your dreams.
Stockholm Syndrome, we fell in love with our own captors. Mass shooters get captured and taken into custody. If black assailants make detainment, truly it's a luxury. Enough to see that there's a power imbalance. Cowards accept the malice and challenge it.
And I have a different perspective on that power imbalance, right? Because I believe that the art you put out has something to do with the way individuals perceive you. And if you think of the masses of art put out by young white men, do they seem dangerous or threatening? Even the ones who go on like these mass shootings and stuff, they just seem emotionally hurt, and this is how they lashing out. However, on the flip side of it, there's a ton of art of young black men being extremely violent, kicking in houses and punching people randomly and all that. You could turn on a song called Murder on My Mind by YNW Melly. So if I'm a cop, I'm also human, and fight or flight is real. And if I see all this violence that you young black individuals commit to each other, and I hear how much y'all say F the police and F12, and you can go all the way back to NWA, then shouldn't I be a little scared? Shouldn't I clutch my gun a little tighter? I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying we have to acknowledge the human that's inside of all of us before we can evolve past these situations. And if young men and women put out different type of art to the world, then the masses of people perceive you in a different light.
Boy, destroy black masculinity. Keep the mothers out the house, let the boys run willingly. Then let the streets raise them and haze them to be brazen. It's basically by design. We reside in public housing. Throw us a couple crumbs and we succumb to those surroundings. Perpetuated by educators and pastors. Stockholm Syndrome, we fell in love with our own captors.
Read The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson.
Mass shooters get captured and taken into custody. If black assailants make detainment, truly it's a luxury. Enough to see that there's a power imbalance. Cowards accept the malice and challenge it ever was valid. Adjust your palate. They say nothing is insurmountable, cause everybody's sensitive and nobody's accountable. Everybody senses it cause nobody's infallible. Never let it disparage you. Welcome to America.
And that slap, you know. Nobody wants to be responsible for what they putting out to this world. And I keep saying, if we all sweep under our own feet, this whole world is clean overnight. And Proverbs 18:21 is real, and energy is a real thing. And you can put positive energy out to the world, or you can put negative energy out. And you have to look around and see the masses of people are putting negative energy out, but that's because no one ever has shown them the positive side of life. And I'm doing my thing, baby. I hope this video made you think. I hope this track made you think. Hope you share with somebody. Hope you help somebody get enlightened, because we're in a spiritual warfare right now. It is not the external; it's the internal that's up for grabs, and your soul is the prize. So if you would guard your body, guard your mind. Shout out to everybody who recommended this track, man. Extremely dope. Extremely dope. Think for yourself. Read for yourself. Another fire book is Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. Autobiography of Malcolm X is a fantastic book. The Spook Who Sat by the Door is a great book. I can't remember who wrote that one. And Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson is another book that you should check out, man. We enlighten the world one reaction video at a time. Be the change you wish to see in this world, baby. We out.